In a heart-wrenching tale that highlights the dire consequences of unnecessary regulations, we dive into the harrowing experience of Ellen and her husband Daniel. One fateful evening, Daniel faced a life-threatening medical emergency that required immediate attention. As Ellen frantically called for help, she was met with an unexpected obstacle: the stringent regulations imposed by their homeowners association, HOA. These rules, designed to maintain order and aesthetics within the community, inadvertently hindered the swift arrival of emergency responders. The clock was ticking, and every second counted as Ellen navigated the complexities of HOA guidelines while desperately trying to save her husband. This gripping story not only highlights the emotional turmoil faced by Ellen, but also raises critical questions about the impact of such regulations on life and death situations. As we explore the chilling consequences of this bureaucratic oversight, viewers will be drawn into a narrative that challenges the very essence of community safety in the human cost of red tape. Join us as we uncover the profound implications of Ellen and Daniel's ordeal, a story that resonates deeply with anyone who has ever faced a crisis. As the morning light streamed through the window, casting a warm glow across the room, Ellen's peaceful morning routine was shattered by an alarming sight. There on the floor lay Daniel, pale and unresponsive, a stark contrast to the serene beauty of the day outside. Panic surged through Ellen as she rushed to his side, her heart racing with fear and desperation. The chaos of the moment enveloped her. Every second felt like an eternity as she fought to remain composed. With trembling hands, she dialed 911, her voice shaking as she relayed the urgency of the situation to the operator. "My husband needs help. He's not breathing," she cried, her determination igniting amidst the overwhelming dread. The operator's calm voice cut through her panic, providing critical instructions that felt both reassuring and daunting. Ellen listened intently, her mind racing as she followed each step, her love for Daniel fueling her resolve. In that moment, the world outside faded away, leaving only the urgent need to save the man she cherished. As the morning light continued to shine, oblivious to the turmoil within. As the wail of sirens pierced the air, hope surged within Ellen, but it was quickly overshadowed by an unexpected obstacle. Margaret Voss, the ever-vigilant HOA president, stood at the entrance, arms crossed and a stern expression etched on her face. "You can't park here," she declared, her voice dripping with authority, oblivious to the urgency of the situation. Ellen's heart sank as she realized that the absurdity of HOA regulations was now blocking the paramedics from reaching Daniel. The rules, designed to maintain order, had become a cruel barrier in a life-or-death moment. Tension hung thick in the air as the paramedics hesitated, exchanging glances filled with uncertainty. Ellen, desperate and frantic, pleaded with them to push past the ridiculous blockade. "Please, he's dying," she implored, her voice cracking under the weight of fear. The paramedics, torn between following protocol and the urgency of Ellen's cries, faced a moral dilemma. In that charged moment, the absurdity of bureaucracy clashed violently with a raw instinct to save a life, leaving Ellen caught in a whirlwind of desperation and frustration. In the midst of chaos, Ellen found herself face to face with Margaret Voss, the embodiment of the absurdity that had gripped their community. "You're violating HOA bylaw 17C, Margaret insisted, her tone unwavering, as if the life of her husband hung in the balance of a mere regulation. This bylaw, which dictated parking restrictions to maintain the neighborhood's aesthetic, now stood as a cruel reminder of the red tape that could cost Daniel his life. Ellen's emotional turmoil surged. How could a rule take precedence over human life? "My husband is in there, and you're worried about a parking spot," she shouted, her voice trembling with desperation. The surreal nature of the standoff was palpable as the paramedics stood awkwardly, caught between their duty to save Daniel and the rigid enforcement of HOA regulations. Ellen felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, battling not just for her husband's life, but against an absurd system that prioritized rules over compassion. In that moment, the confrontation became a symbol of the struggle between bureaucracy and humanity, leaving Ellen fighting against both the clock and the irrationality of the situation. The tragic outcome of Daniel's medical emergency left an indelible mark on Ellen's heart, shattering her world in an instant. As the paramedics finally reached him, it was too late. Daniel had succumbed to his condition, and the weight of that loss crashed down on Ellen like a tidal wave. Grief enveloped her, a suffocating blanket of despair that made each breath feel like a struggle. The coroner's report later revealed that the delay in emergency response, exacerbated by the HOA's rigid regulations, had played a critical role in Daniel's untimely death. This revelation ignited a fire within Ellen, transforming her sorrow into a fierce anger directed at the very system that had failed them. No longer just a grieving widow, she became a woman on a mission, determined to hold the HOA accountable for their role in her husband's death. Ellen vowed to fight against the bureaucratic indifference that had cost her everything, channeling her heartbreak into a relentless pursuit of justice. In her darkest hours, she emerged resolute, ready to challenge the very regulations that had once seemed insurmountable. Ellen's journey to seek justice for Daniel began to take shape as she found unexpected support from her neighbors, who were equally outraged by the circumstances surrounding his death. Their compassion and solidarity fueled her determination, and soon local media outlets began to cover her story, amplifying her voice and shining a light on the absurdity of the HOA's regulations. With each article and news segment, Ellen felt a growing sense of purpose. She was no longer alone in her fight. The legal battle against the HOA was daunting, but Ellen was resolute. She understood the significance of her case, not just for her own grief, but for the countless others who might face similar bureaucratic obstacles in their times of need. As she navigated the complexities of the legal system, Ellen remained steadfast in her mission to honor Daniel's memory. Every step she took was a tribute to the love they shared, a commitment to ensure that no one else would suffer the same fate. With each passing day, her resolve grew stronger, transforming her pain into a powerful catalyst for change. As the courtroom proceedings unfolded, the air was thick with tension and anticipation. Ellen sat at the front, her heart racing as the paramedics took the stand, recounting their harrowing experience on that fateful day. Their testimonies painted a vivid picture of the chaos they faced, hindered by Margaret Voss's insistence on enforcing HOA regulations at the worst possible moment. The jurors listened intently, visibly moved by the paramedics' accounts of their desperate attempts to save Daniel, which were thwarted by bureaucratic red tape. When the verdict was finally announced, a wave of relief washed over the courtroom. Margaret Voss was convicted of negligence. The jury's reaction was one of solemn acknowledgement, understanding the profound implications of their decision. For Ellen, this moment marked an emotional release, a culmination of her grief and anger, transforming into a sense of justice. The community erupted in support, rallying around her as they recognized the significance of the verdict, not just for Daniel, but as a stand against the oppressive regulations that had cost a life. In that moment, Ellen felt a renewed sense of hope, knowing that her fight had sparked change. In the wake of the trial, Pine Hollow underwent a remarkable transformation. The conviction of Margaret Voss led to the dissolution of the HOA, as residents rallied for new leadership that prioritized community safety over rigid regulations. Ellen, once a grieving widow, emerged as a beacon of hope and resilience, advocating for a more compassionate approach to governance. Her small rebellions, organizing community meetings, challenging outdated bylaws, and fostering open dialogue, became symbols of her personal growth and healing. Each step she took was a tribute to Daniel, a way to honor his memory while forging a brighter future for their neighborhood. The impact of Daniel's story rippled far beyond Pine Hollow, inspiring other communities to reevaluate their own regulations and prioritize human life over bureaucracy. Ellen's journey resonated with many, sparking conversations about the importance of compassion in governance. As she continued to share her story, she found strength in her vulnerability, transforming her pain into a powerful catalyst for change. In the end, Ellen not only healed her own heart, but also ignited a movement that would forever alter the fabric of her community. Ellen's story is a poignant reminder of the profound impact that love and justice can have in the face of adversity. At its core, her journey emphasizes the importance of standing up against injustice, no matter how daunting the obstacles may seem. Through her fight for Daniel, Ellen not only sought accountability for the regulations that contributed to his tragic death, but also ignited a movement for change within her community. This narrative encourages viewers to reflect on how seemingly innocuous regulations can profoundly affect human lives, urging us to prioritize compassion and empathy over bureaucracy. Ellen's resilience and determination serve as an inspiring call to action for all of us to advocate for what is right. As we conclude this powerful story, we invite you to join us in spreading awareness about the importance of community and justice. If you found Ellen's journey inspiring, please subscribe, like, and share this video. Together, we can amplify voices that seek change and honor the memories of those we love, ensuring that their stories resonate far beyond their time.